Well, joining me now is conservative political commentator and digital creator, Brittany Hughes. Brittany, it's wonderful to have you on the show. Thank you so much for joining me. Look, we've got to start with Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez's disaster of sorts on the world stage. Wasn't it just shocking? So she firstly has this brain freeze where she's asked a foreign policy question about Taiwan. She can't answer it. And then she proceeds to go on a word salad. And I've got to say, she makes Kamala Harris seem coherent, which is saying something. But my question, Brittany, is how on earth do the Democrats think that this could be the woman to take them to 2028?
I have absolutely no idea. Look, I don't know if maybe she and Kamala Harris sidled up to the same bar or something beforehand. It was absolutely insane and embarrassing. And look, I think what you have here, because a lot of people have been comparing, a lot of her comments in Munich to, for example, Secretary of State Marco Rubio's speech, right, which was extremely eloquent and very solid. And I think just really shows what an example of, a very experienced statesman can be like. And then you've got AOC over here who is just falling all over herself. The word vomit is all over the floor. It's ridiculous. And look, unfortunately, we live in a country where anybody, just about can win a congressional district if you've got a solid enough social media ground game. But making TikToks doesn't make you smart. It doesn't mean you know what you're talking about. This is a woman that couldn't find Taiwan on a map, much less speak intelligently about it. So unfortunately, this is where we're at. But frankly, as far as I'm concerned, if Democrats want to make this woman their front runner, if this is who they want to push to the forefront, if this is who they want to run for president, go for it. Please, by all means, absolutely let AOC run. I think that would be fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, the Democrats will never, ever get in again with AOC as the front runner. And you're right. Did she go to a bar beforehand? She's had so much time to prepare for this big moment on the international stage, and she absolutely squandered it. I couldn't agree more. But I want to actually ask you about that speech by Secretary of State Marco Rubio. I thought that it was a real masterclass in international relations. Let's have a listen to it.
We are part of one civilization, Western civilization. We are bound to one another by the deepest bonds that nations could share, forged by centuries of shared history, Christian faith, culture, heritage, language, ancestry, and the sacrifices our forefathers made together for the common civilization to which we have fallen heir.
Brittany, I thought his speech was really interesting. This was delivered to Europe for Europe. And he's basically saying, hey, pull your weight and protect Western civilization. And I just thought it was wonderful to have such a strong speech like this that's pro the West, and Lord knows we need some pro the West content right now, but also anti-mass migration. What was your take on it?
Look, I thought it was really solid, and what I appreciate is that he does not apologize for promoting Western civilization. Right now, what we have, particularly in the United States, and I think across many parts of Europe, is you have all of these apologists that are, that seek to downplay Western civilization and the effect that it has had on humanity, and the fact that it has, it has brought, more people out of poverty and starvation, out of slavery. I mean, the West did that. The West is the reason that we have so many advancements in the human race right now, and that we're actually able to go to third world and developing nations and assist. All of that has been built by Western civilization. And we make absolutely no apologies for that. But the way that you destroy Western civilization is to import just unmanageable numbers of people from cultures that neither understand nor respect Western civilization. That does not mean that these people are, just inherently bad or anything like that. But we're talking about controlled migration and the fact that the Western civilization has been able to do what it has done because, migration throughout its history has been largely controlled. So I think that it was solid. I think it was unapologetic. I think it's more of what America and Europe need right now. I think you see across many parts of Europe, they're just as sick as many people in the United States of America when it comes to endless mass migration that has completely destroyed many parts of Europe and turned them into third world countries that the people that were born there don't even recognize. And that's exactly what's happening in many parts of my country. I know it's happening across parts of the UK, and people are tired of it. So I think this was very refreshing.
Yeah, and it's also happening here in Australia, and this is why we need these sorts of conversations, because a lot of politicians do shy away from it because of the fear of being tarnished with the racist brush. No, it's not racist to have a discussion about mass migration. It's not racist to say, hey, there are people that we are bringing in from certain cultures whose values are incompatible with a Western democracy. So I absolutely applaud Rubio for getting out there and saying it like it is, and saying it in front of Europe, who has uncontrolled borders and so many migration problems. So look, good on him. One of the highlights, though, for me over the weekend, Brittany, was Hillary Clinton. Now, she has been savaged for her Trump derangement syndrome on the world stage. So she was going on quite a deranged rant about Donald Trump, as she always does, because she's like a wind-up toy. There's nothing better to say. The Clintons have never got anything positive to say. And then in comes the Deputy Prime Minister of the Czech Republic, who shut her down. Have a look at this.
He has betrayed the West. He's betrayed human values. He's betrayed the NATO Charter, the Atlantic Charter, the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. A lot of what has been done before to try to make sense of how difficult it is to restrain people who want unaccountable power. And none of us in this room, including all of us on this panel, would choose to live under a regime that was so unaccountable that it could act with impunity the way that Putin does, except that's who Trump is modeling himself after.
Well, first, I think you really don't like him.
You know, that is absolutely true. But I really, not only do I not like him, I don't like him because of what he's doing to the United States and the world. And I think you should take a hard look at it if you think that there is something good that will come out of it.
What I think Trump is doing in America, I think it is reaction for something for some policies that really went too far from the regular people, too far from reality. So, you know, we saw the cancel culture.
Yes.
We saw the woke revolution.
Oh, I mean, he was absolutely on point. He did not miss. And as for Hillary Clinton, well, she didn't expect that, did she?
No, she likes people kissing her butt, and that's what too many people do. Look, I don't know why in the world this washed-up old rag was even sitting on that panel in the first place. She just needs to go away at this point. She has nothing of value to add. You know, this is what happens when you have Trump derangement syndrome to the point where it rots your brain and apparently your face. Look, all she's got is this fantasy that so many on the left in this country are living out, where they almost want to live in 1930s Germany. It's like a fetish. It's extremely disturbing. And so they continue to pretend that Donald Trump is a fascist, that he's an autocrat. The irony of sitting there in Munich and talking about, you know, living under a dictator. We don't have a dictatorship in this country. But, you know, again, it's absolutely correct to say that Donald Trump is a reaction to so many of the far left and woke policies that we saw pushed under Barack Obama, that we saw pushed under Joe Biden. I mean, we had a border crisis that was just, I mean, absolutely unbelievable under Joe Biden. Millions of people pouring into this country that we didn't know where they were coming from. We didn't know if they meant us harm. We had no idea if they were criminals. We were losing track of hundreds of thousands of migrant children that should have been protected. You couple that with, you know, some of the far left LGBTQ propaganda that's being shoved down our kids' throats in our classrooms. We have drag queens stripping for toddlers. I mean, it's absolute madness. And so, yes, what you saw with the tens of millions of people that voted for Donald Trump was simply American people who wanted to return to sanity. We just want normal. And if that sounds fascist to Hillary Clinton, quite frankly, the reason that she's sitting there in Munich running her mouth about Donald Trump now years after 2016 is because he beat her. He wasn't supposed to beat her. And he did, and she's still salty about it.
Yeah, she's still salty about it all these years later. You're absolutely spot on. And you may make a good point. I don't know why they keep rolling her out. She doesn't have anything to offer. She is a has-been. Please, spare us from Hillary Clinton. Now, the White House border czar, Tom Homan, he has just announced that 1,000 ICE agents have left Minnesota's Twin Cities area and hundreds more will depart in the days ahead. But I thought this was interesting because he said that a small security force will stay. Here is Tom Homan laying it down.
He sent me to Minneapolis to do three things. De-escalate, done. Take public safety threats off the street, over 4,000 illegal aliens were arrested, done. Gain cooperation from state and local law enforcement so it makes the agent's job safer to arrest a public safety threat in the safety and security of a facility, done. But even though we're drawing down resources, we still want to have hundreds of special agents here drawn down on the fraud here from the Somatic community and others. Those fraud investigations can continue until they're done. We're going to hold people responsible.
So, Brittany, okay, yep, the contingent will be smaller, but the reality is Donald Trump's resolve is still there.
Absolutely. And I've had the pleasure of meeting Tom Homan several times and speaking with him. And I can tell you, this is a guy who is going to get the job done. That is his entire goal. He is singularly focused and he is there to be efficient and to do his job. And he makes no bones about the fact that he does not want criminal aliens on our streets, whether in Minnesota or anywhere else in this country. The other thing, too, by the way, that he didn't highlight right there that I think is notable is that ICE was actually able to track down over 4,000 missing children that had gone unaccounted for under the Biden administration during this operation in Minnesota. So I think that's massive. I mean, we're talking about kids that we didn't know where they were or what was happening to them. Many of them have been found in, trafficking situations, forced labor. So there's that. But look, I think that the Democrats were trying to take some sort of victory lap and make this sound like, oh, well, Tom Homan's got cold feet and, we scared him out of Minnesota. Not at all. We've got surges happening all across this country where once the initial job is done, ICE, backs up and goes somewhere else. I mean, you're talking about a country of over 340 million people that spans, thousands upon thousands of miles. And so it's not like you can just have a constant ICE presence everywhere all at once. So it makes sense that the initial push would be done. But Tom Homan, make no mistake, Tom Homan is not going to leave if he feels like there is still work for ICE to be doing in Minnesota or anywhere else, quite frankly.
No, and I mean, as you said, I feel like he is a man of his word. He is strong and he is determined. And again, he is acting on a mandate that Donald Trump was elected for to get rid of illegals so that the left can complain all they want, but he's doing the job that he was set out to do. So, good on him. Now, Brittany, I just want to change pace a little bit. I thought it was funny this week, Donald Trump, he fired back at the hapless and desperate Bill Maher. The host went on a late night rant. So he's criticised the president over climate inaction, global warming, the usual nonsense that the left peddles. But don't forget that Maher and the president had dinner together last year in March. Now, Trump has absolutely destroyed him in a lengthy Truth social media post, which read, "He came into the famed Oval Office much different than I thought he would be. He was extremely nervous, had zero confidence in himself, and to soothe his nerves, immediately within seconds asked for a vodka tonic. But then I noticed his show started to devolve into the same old story. Very boring, anti-Trump. Bill continues to suffer from a severe case of Trump derangement syndrome, and there is nothing that will ever be done to cure him of this very serious disease." I love this. I absolutely love this. I mean, I just feel like Donald Trump's post is more funnier than Bill Maher, who claims to be some sort of a comedian. What is it with these lefties?
Look, I'll give Bill Maher at least a modicum of credit in the fact that he's not quite as bad, maybe, as some of the further left, late night hosts. But look, I think this is what so many people love about Donald Trump was that he cuts through all of the bull. He's going to tell you like it is, and he's going to sit there and he's going to blast it out on social media. If, hey, look, this is a guy that came crawling into the Oval Office, really wanted to be there, was chumming up to me. But then when it's expedient for him, he's going to go on a show with all of his liberal buddies and he's going to talk a completely different game. And I think that that's what people appreciate about Donald Trump is kind of what what you see is what you get, versus so many of these leftists who all of it is it's smoke and mirrors, right? It's sitting there saying whatever you think your audience is going to like or what you think your friends in Hollywood are going to like, rather than what you actually believe. And so again, I thought it was hilarious, but you're right, Bill Maher hasn't been funny. I don't remember the last time I watched one of these shows, quite frankly. Their ratings are in the toilet because people are sick of this nonsense.
Yeah, because again, the majority of Americans voted for Donald Trump. They don't want to sit there and watch Donald Trump be absolutely destroyed. They want to actually see him gets the credit he deserves. These comedians are not funny. Now, Brittany, before we let you go, I have to end on this. Kamala Harris has gone to her favourite place. She's back at the bar. Yes, her favourite place in the world. Have a look at this.
Nice to meet you.
How are you?
Very well. How are you doing?
Excellent. Feeling better now.
You create a wonderful environment here.
Yeah, we really, it's very cultivated. A lot of history here.
What milkshake did you get? I'm getting a Mardi Gras milkshake.
I got a strawberry. I'm a strawberry milkshake.
Yeah, I'm sure her milkshake had some vodka in it as well.
Yeah, I'm surprised she wasn't just sitting there doing tequila shots. I just want to know, was she drunk when she got there, or
Probably.
I mean, look, just ridiculous. Of course she got the Mardi Gras milkshake. I don't really want to take that thought too much farther, though, because it gets very disturbing very quickly. But look, Kamala Harris, I mean, what can I say? This is a woman that I think she still has grandiose visions of her political future. I'm not sure who I want to run more, her or AOC. It's really kind of a toss-up. I'd be happy with either one, quite frankly. We beat her once, we can do it again. Yeah. But, oh, Kamala.
Yeah.
Just have another one, honey, and sit down.
Have another one, Kamala. Rest your head on the bar table. Just relax. I agree.
We've all been there.
We've all been there, but let's be honest, Kamala has been there more than most. Let's not beat around the bush here. Brittany Hughes, you're absolutely brilliant. It's been wonderful to have you on the program. Thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you for the invite anytime.